Good afternoon. Welcome to 3 o'clock with SOC. Give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking neighbors. Buenas tardes. Gracias por estar con nosotros hoy en 3 p.m. con SOC. Si quieren acceso al programa en español, por favor marquen el número que aparece en pantalla, que es 425-436-6200. Cuando le contestan la llamada, por favor comparten el clave o contraseña que empieza con 6, que es 627-682. Thank you. My name is Tammy Rivera. I'm the Executive Director and Lead Organizer for SOC, SOC for Old Schoolers. Welcome this Friday, May 22nd, 2020, to our 3 o'clock with SOC online community forum. We are here for you as we always have been, with the exception of in person because of our Moving Milwaukee Forward guidelines from the city. And you can reach us in all of those ways. Our same phone number, 672-8090. Our email at soc@socmilwaukee.org. And you can visit our website at www.socmilwaukee.org. And we have a full page dedicated to information, resources, and ways you can take action in response to the coronavirus. All of our team is on deck. It's Friday. We lived to live another week. We usually say we live to fight another day, and that's true for organizing. But for us as a community, we have been doing this thing. It's been challenging, but we're getting through it together. And so I want to remind you that we have incredible, meaningful forums coming on next week. I almost forgot that Monday is a holiday. And so Monday is Memorial Day, and it's a holiday for SOC. And so we will not have forum on Monday. But on Tuesday, you don't want to miss our program. We have Miranda Medina Lopez. She's a health educator with the Wisconsin Women's Health Foundation, and she's going to be sharing several of the programs that they have for women and their families in terms of health and wellness. And you really want to hear all about that. And then on Wednesday, we have the newly elected President of the Common Council, Chevy Johnson, with us. On Thursday, we have our Lieutenant Governor, Mandela Barnes, with us. And on Friday, we have MPS Superintendent, Dr. Keith Hosley. So you don't want to miss a forum at all next week. It's really important for us to create a space for community conversations, to address issues, and to talk about your needs and your dreams. And because of that, and because of the type of organization that SOC is, we can't always sign off on everything everyone says here, even sometimes our staff or myself even sometimes. So I just want to share a disclaimer. The views and opinions shared on the show may or may not necessarily reflect those of SOC. With that, I want to remind you, every day we have a $25 gift certificate drawing for those of you this week again who fill out our survey. That's a win for all of us. You have the opportunity in these hard times, people are dealing with hard times financially, to get $25 to meet your family's needs. Two, gift certificates are to local businesses, and we know that our business community has been hit hard, and so you help them. 3, it helps us meet your needs, do our job better, and be able to give account to our funders that we're getting your feedback. So it's a win for everyone. Please do participate. I think we crossed over the 100 surveys this week. We're so appreciative, but we want to do them every day. And you don't want to leave money on the table. So please do cooperate. It's just a couple of questions. You fill out your information, 3 or 4 questions. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes, and it helps in so many ways. With that, we want to dig right into our guest for the day. I want to welcome Jeanne Geraci, the Executive Director of the Benedict Center. Hola, Jeanne.
Hola, buenos dias a todos. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. I want to do a little intro into the work that we do together. And then we want to hear about the Benedict Center, the Sisters Program. And like you shared, it's really important for you to hear from the community and their concerns. And so we'll do all of that as much as we can in the next 25 minutes. So I want to share with you all that the Benedict Center and SOC have a formal strategic partnership. And we have since my tenure here since 2015, 2016, to address the issue of diversion programs for women involved in street prostitution. And so we did a phase one, and it was extremely successful. SOC was able to lead the steering committee for the sort of coalition working with the Benedict Center, and we were able to do the community education and engagement that first round, which led all that work with the Benedict Center to the drop-in center being open on the south side. And this is a collaboration, that was a collaboration between the Benedict Center, us, the medical college, the district attorney, the MPD. Am I missing anyone? Justice Points. Am I missing anyone, Jeanne, from that first round?
No, I
So,
think that's it.
yeah, and just so you all know, so we can connect the dots, what we did on the near south side was we did a round of input and education with all our resident associations that we work with. And we did on the ground, door by door surveys of residents where there was high activity to find out what your greatest concerns were. Well, now we have the Benedict Center, the Sisters Program on the south side. Jeanne will talk more about that. And we're entering phase two because in phase one, we found out there were two, or we affirmed there are two critical issues for women to have the opportunity to leave that activity. And one was housing, and the other was treatment for substance abuse. And so that was round one. Now, round two, we're in a phase two strategic partnership, now sort of lifting up the need for those women involved in street prostitution who are also addicted to opiates. And so, anyway, just connecting the dots of where we've been in the past with the South Side. And now I want Jeanne, tell us a little bit about the Benedict Center and then explain the Sisters Program and what role it plays in the entire system.
Okay, thank you again, Tammy. The Benedict Center has been a private nonprofit organization since 1974, and we specialize in working with women in the criminal justice system. Primarily, we've been a drug and alcohol treatment and education alternative to incarceration for women. And so we have a lot of long and deep relationships with our system partners in the criminal justice system, courts, DAs, the Department of Correction, the House of Correction. They all refer women to our program in order to give them the support that they need so that they can break that cycle of incarceration and the things that kind of led to it. The Sisters Program was designed specifically to help women in the street-based sex trade. And we wanted to do that because we knew that women were frequently arrested and charged with the crime of prostitution. And we thought, why wait for them to come be referred to us from the DA's office? Let's go to the streets where we know we can find them and try and connect with them and provide them an intervention, some support before that point. So we started that in 2012, and but we knew that, and we started on the near north side, but we knew that there was definitely a lot of activity on the near south side. The police department often said, when are you going to open up something in Police District 2? When we finally had the ability to do that, I wanted to make sure that we were partnering with the residents. And to me, Southside Organizing Center, it was the premier agency that really helps engage and lift up the voice of you, residents and stakeholders, business owners, people who are living in this community. We didn't want to come in as just outsiders making assumptions and not checking in with the people who are living in this community. So I'm so grateful for that partnership, and I think that really helped us get a solid start in opening up the drop-in center on the south side. And last year we served 171 women, unduplicated women, just at the drop-in center. And then we also do street outreach and then advocacy and policy change work. Do you want me to keep going? Yeah,
well,
I want to pause for.
Yeah, no, while you were saying that, it reminded me of a couple of things. One is when I came on board the SOC and asked then the captain of the district which is now Chief Morales. He was the captain of the district. When I asked him, Captain, what are the two highest safety concerns for District 2? He said domestic violence.
That's right.
And then human trafficking. And so we knew that we had a system on the south side for domestic abuse because the Latina Resource Center had been functioning and doing well. And so I said, let's work on the second one because I have a great a person I know and an organization. And so he was part of the reason that was ushered in so quickly into District 2 before even the pilot was done. We sometimes have our differences, me and the chief, but this one we were 100% on together and we tackled it together. And he ushered that in, and then Captain Worth, who followed him, really helped implement that. So this is an example of when the relationship between community and law enforcement worked, and so we're grateful about that. So the other thing I wanted you to mention about is that it's the work that we're doing is a public health model, not just like a crime, that it's not focused on crime prevention as much as it is public health. And so can you talk about the sisters and then also emphasize sort of the model that we all operate under?
Sure. Well, so the Sisters Program is designed to meet women where they are and help them take steps towards being healthier and safer. And that's the framework that we're looking at. And I don't know if you've heard of or if you've had previous conversations about the fact that violence spreads like a disease, and that we can also use public health strategies to actually minimize violence or prevent it, to create peace instead. And the thing that we were really concerned about most for the women in the street-based sex trade is the high level of violence that they themselves experience. They are highly victimized by sexual assault, physical assault, sex trafficking. And so we wanted to find ways to help them, recognizing them as victims really of violent crime. Also, the fact that they are using drugs means that a lot of public health and harm reduction strategies also make sense. When we think about the criminal justice system, the traditional approach has been to arrest women. And what we've seen year after year after year, decade after decade, is that arresting women doesn't actually change anything. They might be gone for a few hours, a few days, but inevitably nothing magically changes just because they're arrested or put in jail. And so they come back and that cycle continues. And I think that's frustrating for the residents who would like to see a long-term solution. I think it's frustrating for the police because they're always seeing the same people again and again. But in addition to that frustration, it's actually very harmful for the women because they're now getting more and more of a criminal justice record that actually creates barriers for them if they ever do want to try and move forward. They're going to be discriminated against for housing, for jobs, for things like that. So we said, why don't we do treatment and support instead? And that was really the idea behind doing a diversion, is to have the police, instead of arresting women, refer them to our drop-in center. And so we did pilot that, and we've shown success, that we have better outcomes than arrests. However, we also recognize that the issue is still there for you as residents and for women, and we really need more resources. We're one private organization, and in the first several years, all of our money was privately raised, much of it coming from churches. We have partnerships with women's religious organizations. We have a lot of nuns supporting us as well, but we didn't even have any government money for the first several years. And even still, when you think about the scope of the problem, we really need government to invest more resources into this issue. We started to learn that women themselves were homeless. So if you wanted them to get off the streets and go somewhere else, where would they possibly go if they were literally street homeless and oftentimes having to trade sex just to have a place to stay? Another thing that we're seeing, we think that part of the increase of street-based sex trade that we're seeing on the South Side is very much linked to heroin and the opioid drug trade. And then the question becomes, are we seeing a prostitution issue or are we seeing a drug issue because one's driving the other? And finally, wanting to really recognize that pimps and traffickers, drug traffickers who are also sex traffickers, they use drugs to control women. They use their addiction to control women. So sometimes when we're seeing women out there, they may not be out there on their own accord. And without more investigation, without building a relationship with her and trying to understand what's really going on, it's very hard to just, by driving by, say, we know what the problem is and we can fix it. We really need to be able to connect with her as a person, build trust, build rapport, and then poco a poco, little by little, we can take those steps towards connecting her to resources and increasing the number of options that she has.
That's great. A couple of things that stand out to me about what you were sharing was the new idea that we know we've had an opiate epidemic in this nation that has crossed race and social class. And we see that also in the activity of the sex trade. And so when you said that, it reminded me of a discussion that I had with Pancho Mercado, Team Havoc. And he succinctly said it, what we have are addicts who are prostituting, not an increase in prostitution. And that's a survival mechanism for them, but also what we call, right, in the work that we're doing, coercion. Like you said, that some of the traffickers are intentionally working to get women addicted voluntarily or involuntarily, and then they're taking advantage of addictions. And we saw so many deaths and tragedies for so many women and families. Jeanne, share some of the results that we have been seeing, because I think people, first of all, I think everybody understands how difficult it is to get clean when you're an addict. Like almost all of us can say we know someone who's been an alcoholic or addicted, and how challenging, like we have not cracked that nut in this nation. But talk to us about some of the success we are seeing because of the Sisters Program.
Thank you very much. While we talk about how highly victimized and challenged the women in the streets can be, there's also an incredible amount of hope and faith and resilience within them. And when given the chance, I think that can really blossom. So as I was saying, 170 individual women coming through the drop-in center and engaging in services. We're partnering with the housing division right now. So currently we're working with 36 women in getting them connected eventually to permanent housing, which is often the first step. Imagine trying to kick drugs if you're outside on the street. That's a pretty hard thing for someone to do who has shelter, much less to try and do it when you don't. Just a story of a particular woman with COVID coming. So in the winter, we run a warming room. And so 43 women were able to take shelter with us during the winter months when it's the coldest. And towards the end, when COVID spiked up, we realized we had to close our warming room about a week earlier than we really wanted to, because we just, our space is like a big open dormitory. So it just wasn't safe to do that. So we were working with each individual woman on a plan to get her into emergency shelter until we could find some housing solution. And this particular woman, she agreed to go to the new clinic over in West Dallas for opioid treatment, and was able to start on methadone, which is a harm reduction step. And as a result, she didn't have to trade sex in order to have the money to buy the drugs. She had methadone, which was clean and controlled and safe. And so then we were able to get her a voucher for a hotel, and she began the talk therapy and treatment. And it's been 2.5 months, and she's doing fantastic. And we're now working towards getting her placed into an apartment, and she's looking for a job. She's got her resume together, and she knows that working is going to be the thing that gives her life the structure that she needs so that she doesn't go back to using. And she has enough disabilities where she could probably qualify for SSDI, but she doesn't want that. She wants to work, and she wants to give back. And so for me, in all of this darkness around COVID, that's been one of the bright spots.
That's beautiful. And I was so warm, felt so warm about all the work that we contributed when you shared that story with me. That's why we do what we do. It's not any different than any of the struggles that we're dealing with, each of us, and then within our families and friends. And so these are part of our community. These women are a part of our neighborhood and part of our neighbors. Jeanne, I'm going to ask for questions from our viewers. And in the meantime, will you share where people can call, or what people can do if, one, they see what they suspect as sex trade activity, or they see a woman who they suspect is doing sex trade and maybe being attacked or hurt, and where to call, which is the biggest complaint we saw like a year and a half ago about needles to be picked up from people who are addicted, who could be the women or could be anyone in the community. And then while you do that, I'm going to ask folks, what is your biggest concern? Jeanne said little or large regarding this issue. What do you want to know? What are you concerned about? This is a great time to give us feedback so that we can adjust our plans around the project to meet residents' needs. So explain what they can do when they see activity or threats, and then I'll look at the live comments.
Thank you. Well, first of all, if you ever see that someone's well-being is being threatened because someone's being beat up or abducted or something violent and criminal like that is happening, call 911. Absolutely, don't hesitate. Call 911 and let them know that someone's life is in danger. If you are seeing women who are walking on the streets and you suspect that they're in the sex trade, or if you might see individuals who are kind of nodding off because they're using heroin or opioids, and they're kind of sitting or laying down on the sidewalk or in the alley, I would recommend not to approach or engage with them, but you can note that time of day and the location and call our program. And we don't have enough staff to be able to dispatch immediately to try and go and talk to somebody. We have 2 street outreach specialists who drive around in a van with the Sisters logo on it, so you might see it out there in the neighborhood if you haven't already. But if we have that report of the location and the time, maybe a description, then we can try and make sure that we're going by that spot, and maybe even at that time of day, so that we have an opportunity to engage with women that way. You can call the Southside Organizing Center right now if you're having those issues, because that way Spanish speakers can make sure that they're able to make their report. And also with COVID, we're still doing our street outreach, but we're not always in the office. So I want to make sure that your call is received. We are working with the police department to expand how they can once again make referrals of women to our program as well. So it's about working together in that way, that we can at least be aware that the issue is still out there, have a sense of how big it is, and do our best to try and cover that area with our street outreach. No promises. I'm not trying to make any promises I can't keep that somehow we're going to magically solve that problem right then and there, but just consider us another resource in addition to the other tools that you have for keeping your neighborhood safe.
So Taylor asked a question that we just finished answering. She asked it before we answered it. What is the number to contact or steps we should take if we see women in need that are actively prostituting? We answered that just now. And are there any different steps we should take if witness the person in charge of them? And so Jeanne shared, call the Benedict Center, or you can call SOC as well. We have a community prosecution unit. We call it community problem solving unit that works with all those partners I talked about and the Benedict Center. So that really what the Benedict Center outreach team does is build trusted relationships with the women because they have experienced an extreme amount of trauma. Those were some of the findings in phase 1. Many of them had been sexually abused between the ages of 2 and up. Many of them had experienced a lot of violence in their life, etc. And so they're women with a lot of trauma. And so, building trust in a relationship where they can even admit to what's happening takes a while and investment. And then the other question here is from Elsa. My biggest concern is that we have a large number of sexual prostitution activities in the alley behind our building, 1615 South 22nd Street. Calling the police doesn't help. What can we do?
Well, if we can note that address, one thing I can do is see if our street outreach team can actually drive through that alley at times. What time, and if we could find out what time you're seeing
we'll get that. We'll get those details from Elsa and share them with you. Just because we're almost about to run out of time, Lily, send us where the cross section where you're seeing the activity. Mari works for the city attorney's office. She says, get the information to me. We can deal with that also. And so the last thing I just want to help people understand is these are someone's daughters, sisters, moms, and siblings. And so we were really trying to help people understand that the humanity of the situation, because they see the symptoms of all that trauma. They don't see the trauma. But also, I just want to say, Jeanne, will you explain, like in 30 seconds, where the Sisters Program is within the whole system of like what you do, that it's not the solution to the whole problem. It's one piece, and what else has to like people often say, why is this problem still here? Because this, that, and the other. But we want to explain this is one part of a whole system.
Yeah, I think like why is there still poverty? Why is there still racism? We have to have the political willpower to solve this problem. And that means elected officials need to hear from the residents to say, we want a long-term solution. And so that would mean that we have enough funding for housing and treatment on demand. There's wait lists for treatment programs. There's wait lists for shelters and housing. And so even if you see somebody and we go and talk to them, or the police come and pick them up, if there's no place for them to go, it's not going to change. So we need to create policies, and we need to create programs to really expand those resources. So we came in as a small advocacy group, and we want to partner with as many people and groups and organizations as possible, so that as a community we can come up with a comprehensive solution. We know that we're not a silver bullet. We can't do it all by ourselves. We have to do it together.
Thank you so much for being with us. As you know, you're a strong partner for us and the community in general, and we look forward to having you back and your staff back to talk more about this issue. Thank you so much, and be safe.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Be safe as well.
Adios. I want to say some quick hellos to the folks that are here with us. Hola Diana, hola Elsa, Brenda, Maricano, Maria Alicia, Taylor, Lillian. Good to see you, Mari. So glad you guys have joined us again. I'm really appreciative of your comments. We have a lot to work to do. There's so much to share. Let me tell you, te parta el pecho, it'll break your chest open when you really look into the issue. And sometimes we're only looking at the surface. I had the great privilege of doing some work with some of the women after our first phase, did a power analysis, how to show them how to do a power analysis in their life. It was very powerful. I learned a lot, and it was incredible to hear their stories. Hola, Dulce. We want to invite you, if this is an issue that you're passionate about, you can jump on board with us on this project to dig in. You can help the Benedict Center. They're always in need of donations and food, etc. So let us know if this is something that pricks your heart and you have a passion for. Andrea Rodriguez, our leadership coordinator, is the project lead for us on this one. You can contact her by contacting us at SOC. We're going to move quickly now because we have a lot to share today. And I'll ask Taylor Herrada to join. I think we have a video or a flyer in terms of our coronavirus update.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm a youth organizer with Southside Organizing Center. I got a job through Employment Milwaukee Earn and Learn program, and you should apply too if you are between the age of 14 or 24 and live in Milwaukee County. Application for Earn and Learn have been extended to Saturday, May 23rd. So make sure to fill out your application today. You can find the link to apply in the comments. If you have trouble filling out the application or don't have a computer, please reach out to our youth coordinator, Taylor, by emailing her at taylor@socmilwaukee.org or by calling her at 414-207-8427.
In order to get your application done, here are some examples of the documents you will need. Proof of date of birth like a state ID or driver's license, school ID with date of birth, immunization record if less than 18-year-old, other medical documentation if less than 18-year-old, electronic submission of a birth certificate will not be accepted, social security card, copy of front and back. There are no substitutes for this document. It must be the actual card. Proof of residency, state ID, mail address to you or your parent, report card, and proof of household income dated within the last 6 months. Pay stub or 2019 tax return, SSI or SSDI, TANF or food share. All pages must be included. Once you have completed your application, please make sure you call or email to confirm.
So great to see our youth promoting their program. Listen, that deadline was extended for the second time because of COVID-19, and you really want to take advantage of this. Imagine your youth can get paid this summer to get work experience, and we have an incredible program. They go through a whole personal leadership series. They go through academic and professional leadership, and then they do community organizing leadership. They receive so much more, even above the paycheck, and they give so much to the community, and this could set off their career. My career started by having a youth summer employment program, and so it really, you want to take advantage of this last deadline, which is tomorrow. And Taylor Herrada, our youth coordinator, is more than happy to help you walk through all that list of documents. We can get through it. Don't worry about it. Just dig in. All right, we are going to invite Gabe Charles, our Civic Engagement Manager, to give us an update. Hola,
Hey.
Gabe. Matching
You inspired my
lipstick.
lip color today.
Muy bien.
But I'm just going to do a recap for everybody today. I shared a lot of info this week, like showing you all how to navigate the city channel website, the Milwaukee Registrar website, the myvote.wisconsin.gov website, So if you're interested in that and you missed it, you can actually go to the civic engagement page of the SOC website where we have it uploaded. So you can see where you can see me navigating those websites, so you can get a sense of what they look like and how to search for and find those different common council meetings or committee meetings, all sorts of meetings where our elected officials will be doing their work. So please visit that website if you are interested in seeing that tutorial. And drop a comment if you saw that tutorial and you thought it was helpful. Let us know other websites or other online forms or things like that that you think would be helpful for us to go through on our live forum, because that's what we're here for. So drop a comment if you thought it was helpful. Drop a comment letting us know what else you would like us to do a tutorial on. I also talked about this week about an additional lawsuit that has been filed regarding Wisconsin elections. And this one has a long list of asks for the fall election, including making sure that the state has enough poll workers, mailing absentee ballot request forms to all registered voters, alerting voters if their request for a ballot has been denied, upgrading computer systems to accommodate an expected spike in absentee voting, expanding in-person voting opportunities such as drive-up voting sites, conducting a public information campaign about absentee and early voting, allowing absentee ballots to arrive up to a week after the election and be counted no matter the postmark date. So, and that's among others. There are other asks, but those are the major ones. Also this week, the Wisconsin Election Commission met to discuss the report that came out regarding challenges in absentee voting during the April 7th election. For Milwaukee, the main issues were attributed to technical problems with the state server that is used to process absentee ballots. In the meeting, the commission outlined ways that they intend to address those problems that arose so they don't happen again for the fall election. And they also discussed how they intend to spend a $7 million federal grant to support the remaining elections in 2020. And exactly how this grant will be spent is yet to be determined. They are going to discuss it more at a follow-up meeting next week. But as of now, the main areas that this grant will be applied is to postage. There is increased postage costs with increased absentee ballots because the absentee ballot has to include a return postage stamp that is already paid for by the state. Another area would be absentee mailings. So this could look like an education form that would inform folks how to request an absentee ballot, or it could be an actual request for an absentee ballot. Another area is the absentee ballot envelope. They're looking to redesign the absentee ballot envelope, and this grant could also then pay for the printing of that redesign. And then, of course, sanitation supplies, making sure that the polling places are nice and clean for our voters. So like I said, lots happened this week, and there's definitely lots to be paying attention to for the next week. So as usual, we will keep you posted. And with that, I will leave you all with a census video that talks about the importance of being counted for your children and for future generations. So thanks, and I'll see you next week.
Hey mom, dad, abuelita, tío, I look to you to protect my future. That's why I need you to make sure I'm counted in the 2020 census. In the last census, over 1 million little kids weren't counted. 400,000 were Latino kids under 5. When I'm not counted in the census, there may not be enough funding for my escuela, hospital, daycare center, and the education and health programs I need to grow grande y fuerte. That's why from babies to kids like me, we all need to be counted. Filling out the census is quick and easy. You can do it online, by phone, or by mail starting March 12th. Plus, our information will be kept safe. So when you fill out the 2020 census, be sure to count me too. For more information on Census 2020, call 877-EL-CENSO or visit hazmecontar.org.
Thank you, Gabe, for that update. And we always appreciate those inspirational and educational census videos. And so we were going to do the coronavirus segment, but we jumped to the youth. So now we want to share the coronavirus meals available. So we've been sharing steadily this because it's a basic need. And so we want to make sure that you all know that there are free meals this Saturday from 11 to 2. They are being distributed on the south side at 807 West Mitchell by Damascus Gate Restaurant. We've eaten there, yummy stuff. So this will happen as long as meals are available, and it starts Saturday, May 23rd and goes actually to the 13th. So really great stuff. They're asking you, please wear a mask and make a line, and to make sure that you're keeping 6-foot distance marked at each cone. And so please do take part of that. The flyers are there. We'll make them available on our website as well. So grateful for our community businesses, community organizations, and individuals really coming together to make sure folks can make it through this challenging time. Thank you so much, Taylor, for getting that ready for us. What we'd like to do now is bring on our communications manager, Marisol Diaz, who'll be sharing about a couple of things with us today.
Hi, Community Forum. Reminding you of our daily $25 gift certificate drawing by filling out the survey located in the comments section. In the following day's forum, we'll announce the winner. It's a quick 5-question survey, and you can enter daily and win daily. Thanks for those of you who have been filling them out, and thanks for tuning in. Now let's find out who's today's winner.
Today's winner is, you want to say it, Marisol?
Oh, I wasn't ready.
Oh, that's okay. Yvonne Martinez.
Hello, y'all.
Sorry.
You know, sometimes I like to make an appearance because I'm always back here and nobody sees me. So hello, Community Forum. So glad that you have joined us today. We also wanted to share that this survey thing in the comments section, there's also a link to a bot through Messenger. And I know it's kind of hard to explain, but just click on that link. It takes you into Messenger, and then you can share that survey with others. It's kind of an easier way to go about it. We don't know how much longer we're going to be doing this, so make sure to share soon and invite others to share not only the forum, but to fill out a survey to win $25. Like, it's super simple, and we appreciate it very much. It gives us a lot of feedback on our forums and how, you know, to make these forums for you and more relevant for the information that you want to hear about. We don't want to just be on here ranting. So we appreciate everybody who has engaged and filled out the survey, and please continue to do so and share. The link is in the comments. And now I'll go ahead and announce the winner, I guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Here.
And then stay on. I have a question for you.
All right. So the winner today is Ivan Martinez. Thank you so much for filling out our survey. Ivan, contact us at soc@socmilwaukee.org to claim your certificate.
Mari, so talk to people about what a bot is, what we're trying to, just so that they understand where they're going to get it, what it looks like, and then how they can share it real quick.
Okay, so if you click on the link that's in our comments section, it's going to take you directly into Messenger. And in Messenger, it's going to say, you know, share, or could you use $25? You know, what could you use it for? What, and also to tune into our live community forum. So basically, it's like a share and a share. So first, you're sharing our live community forum to get folks to watch this forum if they haven't heard about it yet. And the second part of the share is to share the survey link so that they can enter a chance to win $25. And just so y'all know, and we want to be mindful of that, it's not spam. It's a real thing. Put a comment. Anybody who's won is the real thing, right? So just letting you all know. Sometimes the thing is about messenger bots, sometimes you don't know if it's from the organization or if it's just like a robot, basically, because that's what they're called. However, it is directly from us. It is automated though, but it is legit. So just letting you all know. If you get anything from us, it will come up as Project Pulso, which is another confusing thing, but it is us. We're just using their channel to distribute these messenger bots.
Exactly. Thank you. Marisol is leading that project. It's brand new for us. And we're just trying to find different ways to reach you and meet your needs. Thank you, Marisol, and congratulations, Ivan.
Yeah,
Please please contact us at SOC@socmilwaukee.org to get the process going for redeeming your certificates. You guys must do that because we have to have a track the system of who's winning, who's redeeming, etc. For our own purposes. So please do cooperate with that. I want to remind you about next week, and then we're going to do our thank yous to our partners. You don't want to miss next week. First of all, I want to remind you that Monday is Memorial Day, and so we won't have a forum. It's a holiday for us. But Tuesday, we have Miranda Medina Lopez. She's going to be talking about the great health programs that the Wisconsin Women's Health Foundation has for women and their families. Wednesday, we have the newly elected president of the Common Council, Chevy Johnson, with us for his first appearance with us here. Thursday, we have our Lieutenant Governor, Mandela Barnes, with us. And Friday, we get to hear from MPS Superintendent Dr. Keith Hosley. So you don't want to miss a day next week. Thank you for being with us. Be safe. And now we want to say thank you to our funding partners who make our work possible and the extra things we're doing around COVID possible as well.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to SOC's Live Forum today. My name is Jeanette, and I am the resident lead for South of the Tracks Polonia Resident Group. Today, we'd like to thank some sponsors: Wisconsin Voices, Community Development Block Grant, Neo Philanthropy State Infrastructure Fund, Movement Voter Project, Catholic Campaign for Human Development, Zilber Foundation, City of Milwaukee Office of Violence Prevention, Tides Foundation, City of Milwaukee Promise Zones, and all the faithful individuals who support SOC through their personal donations. We thank you. We hope you all are staying safe. Talk to you soon.